I started meeting all of these people who expressed to me how much the show meant to them, how it lifted their spirits during a bad breakup. Or, at 55, Jennifer Aniston finally admits what we all suspected. We all loved Rachel Green from the very first minute of Friends. But what if the woman behind the iconic laugh and those legendary outfits has been hiding a devastating secret for decades? Her childhood was a nightmare. Her model mom was ice cold and constantly tearing her down. The scars are deep. So deep she even cut her mom out of her life for 15 years. And then there are questions in everybody's mind. Was Brad Pitt really the villain? The media painted him as. Why did her fairy tale marriages crumble? And the one question that's haunted her for years, why couldn't she become a mom? We're going to uncover the side of Jennifer Aniston you never knew existed. Troubled childhood. Jennifer Aniston may be a Hollywood icon now, but her childhood wasn't all glitz and glam. In California, in 1969, her parents were actors with Greek roots. Life got a whole lot more exciting when her dad landed a role on a famous soap opera, and the family moved to the heart of New York City. Jennifer loved the excitement of the city, but back home, things weren't so happy. Her parents started fighting, and she felt like it was somehow her fault. To try and make everyone smile, she'd be funny and goofy. And that's how she fell in love with acting. But the laughter couldn't fix everything. Her parents got divorced when she was just 9 years old, and her dad left for a while. It was a hard time for a little girl, and it made her question the whole idea of happily ever after. To add to the pressure, her relationship with her mom, Nancy, got complicated. Nancy cared a lot about how people looked, and Jennifer felt like she could never live up to those standards. She'd constantly hear things about taking care of herself or needing to wear makeup. That kind of criticism can really sting 7 years later. Jennifer Aniston could see where her mom was coming from. Being a single mom is tough, constantly working, always worrying about money to support her kids. In a way, Jennifer understood that those critical comments about her looks came from a place of love. My mom wasn't trying to be mean. Jennifer explained it was just how she was raised. Growing up, Jennifer occasionally visited her dad in Los Angeles. He was a star on the soap opera, Days of Our Lives. Maybe those trips out west, combined with having 2 actor parents, sparked something in her. A desire to try her own hand at acting. School wasn't her strong suit. She joked that there was a secret group of teachers who couldn't stand her. The one bright spot was art class. One of her paintings even ended up on display in a famous museum. What she lacked in grades she made up for, in charm and a knack for performing. When she was 11, Jennifer joined the drama club at school. One actor who completely captivated her back then was the legendary Laurence Olivier. She was obsessed, dreaming that maybe she'd get to work with him one day. When he passed away, Jennifer was heartbroken. But then, a little twist of fate. When Jennifer was around 13, her dad got her a tiny part on his soap opera. It was just a quick scene as an extra, but even getting shuffled around on set felt exciting. On the way home from the set that day, Jennifer's dad let her in on a little secret. Turns out the only reason she'd even been in front of the camera was because another girl, another extra, had been bumped to make room for her. Jennifer was mortified, feeling terrible that her small moment in the spotlight had come at someone else's expense. That was Jennifer's first taste of the harsh reality of show business. Nothing is handed to you on a silver platter. You have to fight for your chance. After graduating high school, she dove deeper into the world of acting. attending Manhattan's famous LaGuardia High School of Music and Art and Performing Arts. When her dad found out, he was worried. He'd seen the ups and downs of the industry firsthand, and he didn't want Jennifer's heart broken by all the rejection. Still, Jennifer was excited when she was finally able to move out of her parents' place. Her relationship with her mom, Nancy, had its ups and downs, and she was ready for a fresh start. Sadly, things with her mom would get even rockier later on. But for that moment, Jennifer was focused on spreading her wings and chasing her own dreams. First steps in acting. Jennifer Aniston's acting career started on the stage of the Public Theater back in 1988. She remembers one specific performance where she had a simple scene, just sitting, looking at the audience and delivering a single line. That line always got a laugh. And one night, she looked out into the seats and realized she was making Al Pacino, the legendary actor. Crack up. She was there with Diane Keaton, and it was an incredible moment for Jennifer. That feeling, the power of making someone like Al Pacino laugh, was enough to fuel her dreams for years. Unfortunately, theater didn't pay the bills, so Jennifer, like many aspiring actors, had to hustle. She worked as a waitress at a diner called Jackson Hole, juggling auditions and shifts. Then, when she was 20, she found out she had dyslexia. This common learning disability made it especially tough to read and write. That diagnosis changed everything. Suddenly, all those years of feeling like she just wasn't smart enough made sense. It was like a weight had been lifted. Jennifer wasn't alone. Even in Hollywood stars like Keanu Reeves share the same struggles with dyslexia. Sadly, her very first film role was so tiny that she didn't even get her name in the credits. It was a sci-fi adventure flick called Mac and Me, but it was a start, a little stepping stone on a much bigger journey. The next year, Jennifer found herself promoting Nutrisystem on the Howard Stern Show. Theater roles were drying up, and after 2 years in New York, she made the big move to Los Angeles. She started getting some TV gigs in 1989, but her first few project sitcoms like Malloy and Ferris Bueller fizzled out before ever really catching fire. After a small part in the TV movie Camp Cucamonga, Jennifer landed a role in the 1993 horror flick Leprechaun. Although the movie was panned by critics, it weirdly became a cult classic over the years. Still, after Leprechaun, casting directors started paying more attention to Jennifer. She nabbed a few more TV appearances, and then finally the role that changed everything came along, the Rachel Green Journey. The creators of Friends originally had Jennifer Aniston in mind for the role of Monica Geller, but after reading the script, Jennifer felt a strong connection to Rachel, and that was the only part she wanted. Meanwhile, Courtney Cox had fallen in love with the character of Monica. It was a perfect twist of fate. Still, snagging the role of Rachel wasn't a walk in the park. At the time, Jennifer was already starring in a CBS series called Muddling Through, which wasn't doing so hot. She had a gut feeling that Friends was going to be a hit, so she practically begged the NBC producers to let her be a part of it. They took a chance on her, but Jennifer had to film the pilot episode without any guarantees, still juggling her role on the other show. Then, in a move that might seem a little ruthless, NBC deliberately scheduled a Danielle Steele movie to air at the exact same time as Muddling Through the ratings, for Jennifer's show tanked, and just like that, she was free to fully commit to Friends. Fans might adore the iconic Friends opening scene, but the actors don't feel exactly the same way. Before everything got crazy, The show's director, Jimmy Burrows, took the 6 main cast members to Las Vegas for a little getaway. He gave them a bit of fatherly advice, telling them to savor the moments, because their lives were about to change dramatically. He even gave them each $500 to spend, warning that it would be the last time they could walk through a casino without being bothered. They shared dinner at Caesar's Palace, a special Last Supper. Before the whirlwind of fame, Jimmy Burrows was right. Friends premiered in 1994 and quickly became a huge success. The simple idea of following the lives of 6 young friends in New York City just clicked with audiences overnight. The actors playing that iconic group became household names. That first year, during reruns, we shot to #1. Jennifer remembers. One day, she was just running errands, grabbing toilet paper and tampons, when some fans excitedly approached her for an autograph. It was the beginning of a whole new world. Millions of women around the world copied Rachel Green's famous layered haircut. But ironically, Jennifer herself hated it. Apparently, her hairstylist just wasn't that great at his job. The sudden fame wasn't always easy to deal with. Cameras followed the young stars everywhere, and everyone seemed obsessed with the smallest details of their lives. Even after years of being on the show, the sheer scale of Friends' fame still surprised Jennifer. Despite growing up around actors, it was hard to process just how popular the sitcom had become. She admits that one of the things that helped her stay sane was the support from her mom. Nancy Jennifer never lashed out or let the crazy attention get to her. She'd seen her mom act resentful and bitter, and she knew she didn't want to be like that. Unfortunately, her relationship with Nancy grew worse over the years. It hit a breaking point in 1996 when Nancy gave a very candid and not so flattering interview to a tabloid show, spilling all sorts of private details about Jennifer's life. But the last straw was when Nancy published a tell-all book called From Mother and Daughter to Friends. A memoir. The hurt from that betrayal ran deep, and Jennifer stopped talking to her mom for 15 years. But back to Friends. The show's huge success was due to a winning combination of factors: a relatable idea, brilliant writers, and a perfectly cast group of actors. David Schwimmer remembers feeling a special spark from the very first rehearsals. Finding one actor who completely embodies a role is tough enough, but to find 6 and have that magical chemistry between them is truly special. The writers fostered an environment where the cast could fully inhabit their characters and even contribute their own ideas, creating some of the show's funniest and most touching moments. During filming, the lines between fiction and reality blurred. The actors became real-life friends. Lisa Kudrow recalls how the show's director, Jimmy, encouraged them to hang out in his dressing room during their very first season. It was important that they bonded quickly, because that connection was key to the show's success. The actors were very close to each other, and they were very close to each other. They were very close to each other, and they were very close to each other. They were very close to each other, and they were very close to each other. They were very close to each other, and they were very close to each other. The actors were very close to each other, and they were very close to each other. They were very close to each other, and they were very close to each other. They were very close to each other, and they were very close to each other. This move landed Jennifer, Lisa Kudrow, and Courtney Cox in the Guinness Book of Records as the highest-paid TV actresses of all time. Jennifer's performance in Friends didn't just make her a fan favorite. It earned her critical acclaim, too. She won a Screen Actors Guild Award and was nominated for an Emmy multiple times, finally taking home the trophy in 2002. She snagged a Golden Globe in 2003 as well. It's funny how the lines between reality and the show sometimes overlapped. Remember that big statue of a dog that Joey buys in one episode that actually belonged to Jennifer? A friend had given it to her as a good luck charm at the start of filming Friends. Speaking of good luck, Jennifer met actor Tate Donovan while filming the show's 4th season. Their characters were briefly involved, and the on-screen romance spilled over into real life. The relationship lasted from 1995 to 1998, and many people considered Tate to be Jennifer's first true love. There were rumors they were even engaged, but the wedding prep stalled, and eventually they decided to break things off. Even with her busy friend's schedule, Jennifer still found time to squeeze in some movies. Sadly, not all of them were winners. Her role in the 1996 film, She's the One, actually earned her a Golden Raspberry nomination for Worst New Star. Because of her success on Friends, she was mostly offered comedic roles in films like Dream for an Insomniac, Until There Was You. Her first big break in a non-comedy movie came in 1997 with the romantic dramedy Picture Perfect. The film itself got mixed reviews, but Jennifer's performance was praised. Another dramatic rom-com. The Object of My Affection came out around the same time, but it was another critical flop. On the set, Jennifer started dating her co-star Paul Rudd. The relationship sadly fizzled out pretty quickly, but they stayed good friends and even worked together. Later on, Paul appeared in Friends, and they both starred in the 2012 film Wanderlust Devastating Personal Life. Just like her career, Jennifer's personal life was moving at lightning speed. In 1998, her agent set her up on a date with Brad Pitt. It was the start of one of the most talked-about celebrity couples of the era. Jennifer and Brad actually had a brief encounter way back in the early 90s, but they were both in relationships at the time and weren't interested. It was only when their paths crossed again, years later on a blind date, that sparks started to fly. They moved quickly, but waited a year before confirming they were an item. Their first public appearance as a couple was at the Emmy Awards in September 1999. A few months later, they were spotted rocking out at a Sting concert, and that's when everyone got a glimpse of the engagement ring on Jennifer's finger, a ring designed by Brad himself. Brad gushed in interviews about Jennifer calling her the woman of his dreams. He was convinced they were meant to be together, and they quickly became one of Hollywood's most adored and glamorous power couples. In 2002, Jennifer and Brad even joined forces professionally, starting a production company called Plan B Entertainment, with producer Brad Gray. Jennifer admitted that at first they kept the company under wraps, wanting to prove they were serious filmmakers and not just actors with flashy side projects. By 2004, the company was thriving, with films like Troy and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in the works. Despite being dubbed one of Hollywood's sexiest couples, Jennifer and Brad playfully disagreed. They insisted they were just a pair of goofballs who were more likely to be found in their pajamas than looking glamorous. On July 29, 2000, they tied the knot in a lavish Malibu mansion wedding that reportedly cost them a cool $1 million. Even with all that money spent, there are surprisingly few photos of the actual event. Guests remember being surrounded by 50,000 flowers and a dazzling $20,000 fireworks display. Their wedding vows were light-hearted. Jennifer promised to keep Brad's favorite banana smoothie on hand, and he vowed to master the thermostat. Sadly, Jennifer didn't invite her mom to the wedding, not wanting any family drama to ruin her special day. After a dreamy honeymoon in the Seychelles, the couple settled into their swanky Beverly Hills mansion. Jennifer joked about their clashing decorating styles. He loved modern. She was less enthusiastic. In 2001, Brad even made a fun cameo on Friends, playing a guy who couldn't stand Rachel Green. Jennifer knew deep down that the Friends magic couldn't last forever. She wanted to leave while the fans still adored them, before Rachel turned into a sad caricature of herself. Plus, she was getting that itch to tackle new roles. The show's creators eventually agreed to a shorter final season, sealing the deal for Jennifer. The last episode of Friends aired in May 2004. A bittersweet night for millions of fans glued to their TVs. Over 52 million people tuned in, making it one of the biggest television events in years. As a souvenir, each of the cast members snagged a piece of the fake sidewalk outside, Central Perk, their little corner of TV history. Years later, Jennifer fought back tears when she talked about the special bond between the cast. We really loved and supported each other. She remembered people told her Friends helped them through tough times, even cancer. The show's simple charm was powerful medicine for the soul. She mused that maybe it was the lack of phones and distractions, just people sitting around and actually talking, that gave it such lasting power, ready to step away from Rachel. Jennifer dreamed of a long vacation and starting a family. I want to travel the world before the babies come, she declared, but life had a plot twist in store. In January of 2005, bombshell news hit Jen and Brad. One of Hollywood's golden couples were heading for divorce. Fans were in shock, wondering what went wrong. The gossip machine went into overdrive, immediately pointing the finger at Angelina Jolie. Brad and Angelina had met while sizzling up the screen in the spy flick Mr. and Mrs. Smith. The truth remains a bit murky. Some insist that trouble was brewing in Jen and Brad's marriage, even before filming started, and Angelina just pushed Brad closer to a decision he'd already been mulling over. They pointed to old interviews where Jennifer sounded a bit unsure. Maybe he wasn't the love of her life, but they did have something special. Others saw a perfect match destroyed by the bombshell that was Angelina. Her past reputation as a man-eater certainly didn't help matters. It's a debate that rages on even today. Was it irresistible Angelina who lured Brad away? Or was there deeper incompatibility in the relationship all along? The split was undeniably hard on Jennifer. She secluded herself in her Malibu home, keeping only her trusted dog Norman for company. She steered clear of the news, desperate to avoid the media frenzy and the flood of fan opinions, desperate to hear the juicy details of the divorce. Things got so crazy that fans literally picked sides, with Team Aniston and Team Jolie t-shirts popping up everywhere. Team Aniston seemed to be winning, outselling their rivals, 25-1, but that was probably cold comfort to Jennifer. The paparazzi, who she nicknamed the Rats, were relentless, desperate to get a shot of her, looking heartbroken and alone. Outrageous theories filled the tabloids. One paper even claimed Brad left her because she didn't want children, completely ignoring the fact that Jennifer had recently talked about wanting to start a family. This really stung Jennifer, a man whose divorcing would never be accused of choosing career over children. She fumed in a raw, honest interview with Vanity Fair. That really pissed me off. I've always wanted kids, and I'd never give up that experience for a career. Her dream was to have it all success and a family. Brad and Jen insisted they were parting amicably, still full of love and respect. But it was tough, especially when photos of Brad frolicking on the beach in Kenya with Angelina and her son Maddox surfaced in magazines that same year. In 2006 came the announcement that Brangelina was expecting a child. Jennifer confessed, "The world was shocked, and I was shocked." Her friend Andrea Bendewald shared how painful it was for Jennifer to see Brad move on so publicly and so quickly. Through it all, Jennifer relied heavily on therapy yoga and the steadfast support of her closest friends. Those friendships were her lifeline as she navigated the rough waters of divorce. In 2005 was a rough year all around. Her personal life wasn't the only thing taking a hit. She tried stepping away from her usual bubbly roles, but luck wasn't on her side. "I'm feeling nervous that you're at it, 'cause you've been in the house a lot." "Yeah, I have. I've been in the house a lot." The crime thriller Derailed was panned by critics and a dud with audiences. The drama, Rumor, has it suffered a similar fate? Bad reviews and a total box office flop. Everything started looking up a bit. In 2006, with the dramedy, The Breakup, it was ironic her character was struggling with her relationship, eerily echoing her own life. Critics weren't fans, but the film resonated with viewers and did well financially. She even snagged a Teen Choice Award with her co-star Vince Vaughn for their on-screen chemistry that sparked a real-life romance. Fans dubbed them Vaughniston and drew comparisons to Brangelina. Unfortunately, the relationship fizzled out. Jennifer rebounded in 2008 with none other than musician John Mayer. According to Mayer, it was more than just a casual fling. He had real feelings for her, but apparently those feelings weren't strong enough to keep him faithful. He cheated while on vacation in Mexico, and Jennifer was understandably crushed when she found out John begged for forgiveness. But Jennifer wasn't having it. Meanwhile, she leaned on her passion for acting to help heal her heart. In 2010, she landed a guest spot on the sitcom Cougar Town, where her best friend, Courtney Cox, was the star. The two remained incredibly close, even after Friends ended. Jennifer even became godmother to Courtney's daughter, Coco. They've both been through their fair share of failed marriages and career ups and downs, but their friendship remains a constant source of support. As Jennifer puts it, "There's no judgment with Court, only endless love and loyalty." Jennifer found love again with actor-director and screenwriter Justin Theroux in May of 2011. Things seemed serious when the couple bought a massive home in Los Angeles' swanky Bel Air neighborhood the following January, setting them back a cool $22 million. In August 2012, they announced their engagement and finally tied the knot in a private ceremony at their estate on August 5, 2015. Sadly, their marriage wasn't built to last, and they announced their separation at the end of 2017. For most people, Jennifer Aniston's life seemed like a Hollywood dream come true. Fame, fortune, starring roles in beloved sitcoms. But behind the dazzling smile and red carpet glamour, there was a longing for something more, a nagging ache in her heart. Motherhood, a role she always saw herself playing, was slipping further and further out of reach. And to make matters worse, she couldn't escape the constant whispers and stares. Every tabloid cover screamed about baby bumps that didn't exist. Each well-meaning question from a reporter about her future family plans felt like a fresh wound. In 2016, Jennifer found the strength to break her silence. Her essay, for the record, wasn't just a plea for privacy. It was a furious battle cry against the relentless scrutiny and judgment women face. The way I am portrayed by the media is simply a reflection of how we see and portray women in general, she wrote, her words filled with both frustration and raw vulnerability. Years later, in a heart-wrenching interview with Allure magazine, Jennifer lifted the veil on an even more painful layer of her story. The baby rumors, the constant speculation she'd endured it all, with heartbreaking silence, while desperately trying everything in her power to start a family IVF treatments, specialties, alternative therapies. Nothing worked. It was really hard, she confessed, the sadness etched into her eyes.